So, next question is going to be, can you speak to a change, an improvement? Like, what changes, shifts, if any, have you noticed um, since starting this work, finishing just
Hmm.
on this journey? Like, how,
Yeah.
yeah, what have you seen?
Yes. So many. I think I wish I had taken notes after each time. So for this moment, but I do remember the big ones. And I think truly the most profound one for me was that I remember describing to you at one point, I felt like there was some point along the process where I learned to invite my body into situations and to engage it directly, um, in ways that I either was scared to in the past or ways that I just didn't know how to in the past. And I actually remember the exact moment I became aware of it. I remember I was with my mom, and my mom and I have a beautiful relationship, and we're two different people, right? So we nag at each other and we argue and things like that. And something small had happened, and as she asked me to do something, I didn't like it. You know how we do. And my tendency, because I'm very quick tempered, is to just speak and just, say something back. Quick tempered, sensitive, defensive, right? All those things. And so my tendency is to go right to that place. And it was almost like my body rose up and was like, do you need to do that? Like, what are you actually experiencing? What is that? Like, what's happening? And can you calm down and come from that place? But it was almost this feeling of like, had it just been in my head, I would have come with a very quick, retort. And my body was like, no, like it's fine. Like, and it almost was this moment of feeling like my nervous system kind of took over and was like, no, you actually don't need to do that. And I described it to you as almost being able to see in between seconds. It was like time slowed down, which I think is a direct reflection of all of the work that we did in that space, both individually and also in group. But I think the learning to make space for my body to decide how we move versus my mind playing chess and making decisions about, well, if I say this, I'm gonna win this argument. If I go this way, there was no space for that because my body got in front and was like, check it out. Not necessary. It's actually fine. And I don't I still don't fully know what it is, right? Like what the process is. I'm still observing it and learning, but it happens all the time now. And it never happened before. There's an awareness of like, your mind cannot run the entire show. Like you have to also be here. And when I tell you it has saved me from taking on the stress of conflict with people or taking on or like stepping outside of myself in ways that I almost instantly regret. And I know it's that process of my body just asking to be able to lead for a moment and my mind not insisting on being the leader because my mind is the ego that needs to be right and needs to win and needs to, and my body is like, but don't we love this person? So like, calm down, be cool, it's fine. I have a hard time explaining it, but it never happened. Never happened until we started doing the work that we did, and it happens all the time. And it's not something that I'm conscious of. It just happens. It's now a behavior of like you've made a channel, you've made some space, and so now your body can step in and play a role in this too, and to help you be conscious on an embodied level about how you respond to other people and what you take in and what you don't.
Wow.
It's a beautiful thing. I mean, and it's very quiet, which I think is also the part that you always talk to me about my marching band, which I take with me all the time, but it's it's very quiet. And to me, again, I think that I think many people could have that type of experience, but you as a steward, as an artist, I think is what allows that in a particular way. Um, because I think I know that you know how to see that artist in someone else, even if they don't see it, and help them to recognize that they have choice and that there's a creativity in the process of being able to know yourself in a particular way, right? To become more embodied. That's a creative process. That's an artistic process. Um, it's a different, in my mind, I experienced it as a different type of healing because I experienced it as a very deep creative process of asking questions of myself and then seeing what answers came, but allowing myself the time to let it develop in the same way that I would allow myself time in writing a song, time in writing an essay, time in writing a poem. Um, it really was a joyful, creative process, and you were my steward and my guide through it. And it was so beautiful to be part of.
I've never heard it referred to like that, and it's true.
Mhm.
It's definitely true. It's definitely, it's like in the space with the group or individual. It's like I'm not doing anything, you know. So it's like I'm not doing anything. This is all you. This is all health. This is all your
Yeah.
body. This is all your being. This is all your
Mm,
spirit. This is all everything.
mm,
You, you know,
yeah.
everyone's gonna have their own, you know, um, blooming. You know,
Mhm.
flowers. Like they're all different, right? They're all
Yeah.
gonna have their
Yeah.
own way that they bloom and open up, and yeah, it does feel like creative process.
Yeah. It
Exactly.
definitely is. And it's 100% how I experienced it. And I think it reminds me also, you know, you do say all the time, right? It's not me, it's you all, it's what you bring into the space and how you interact with it. And I can see that on a certain level. And it is you, right? You hold the container, you present the options, right? You extend the choices. But I think also some of the most powerful moments that I had with you as well, in particular in our individual sessions, were moments where, there had been a revelation of some kind, right? Or something had come up that was, profound in a particular way, even if quietly again, but there was a profoundness to it. And you would ask me things like, do you want some support? And where do you want it? Like some physical support. I remember the first time you asked me that, I was like, what type? That is such a strange question. Like, how is she gonna support me from London? Um, what? We on Zoom. How's that gonna work? Um, but again, as I said before, like that, I just trusted, yes, we'll try it. And it worked. I mean, I fully sensed your presence and your support in that way. And that meant a lot in that moment. But I will also tell you, as someone who really struggles with hyper independence. And I've been on a journey recently, we've talked about this too, of understanding hyper independence as a trauma response and not a personality trait necessarily, not a naturally occurring personality trait, but as a trauma response. Even just the extension of, can I just support you? Right? Like, can I just put some pressure on your back and support you? Those moments, I often became deeply emotional in those moments, but I feel like I walked out of those moments also feeling very changed because it was a reinforcement for me. It is safe to allow people to support you. It is safe to do it. And that's not to suggest, that I haven't gotten support if, anybody in my family ever sees this and they feel some type of way about what I'm saying on this video. It's not to suggest that that's not the case, but at 34, I'm learning that I need those reminders that there is support available and that there is support available, that it's customized to what I need. Because I think a lot of times what happens is folks give you the support that they want to give you or that they have to give you, right?
Right.
Versus someone, you observing, guiding, and then saying, I think that this could be helpful to you. Is it helpful? Do you want that? I think it really helped change my relationship with and my understanding of choice within support, which is not what I'm used to.
Mm. As you say, I get emotional.
Mm,
The whole thing, right? Like Black women,
yeah, yes,
and you just saying the words like choice within support,
yes,
not just, oh, how can I support you? I'm gonna give you this. Is this helpful?
yeah,
Yeah, great. Like
hmm,
there can be options. There, you can have choice.
hmm, yes,
You can decide and you can ask for exactly once you understand that what it is you need, or
yes,
you have some awareness of it. You
yes,
are deserving of having exactly the thing that it is you need.
yes, 100%. And that I want you to know, and anybody hearing this to know, like that is the space that you created. That is the container that you built around me to where every time you offered it, I took you up on it, which is a vast departure from what I typically do. A lot of times, even if it's offered, I don't take it because either I know it's not what I need or because I don't trust that it's not going to, there's not expectation in it that somebody will try to cash out on months from now that I can't then deliver back to them. Um, but again, that trauma response, right? I have learned again with your guidance and your stewardship, there is choice there. And you don't have to take all the support that comes to you, but also believe that there are situations and spaces and people who can provide you exactly the support that you need, um, and will extend you the agency to decide if that's what you need or not in a space, which is just a positive contribution to my understanding of and belief in my body being able to access what it needs versus the default being you're not going to get what you need, so don't look for it, don't hold your breath for it, it's not coming, which then of course contributes to all the other things, right? The holding of tension and the building of walls, right? And the belief that you are truly out here on your own. There's so much of what was beautiful in our one-on-one space, but also in the group space that you created was there was never a feeling of loneliness in that space, right? We could not be, well, I mean, we could be technically. I was gonna say we could not be further apart. That ain't true. We could be. But like we're very far apart. But that you were able to create closeness in that space in a way that I had not experienced before. And I think my tendency would be to be very wary of that. And actually that never entered the chat, right? I always felt like I could trust it. And I always knew that it would come right when I needed it to come and that I would have choice and agency in it.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, so like I get emotional when I think about. And you mentioned about. Thank you for saying that support piece. It's such
Hmm.
a huge piece. It came up with so many. It comes up with so many people that I work with.
Yeah.